Stopped.
Yo, I'm Bob. Into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Gonna be unboxing a 2-pack from NECA today. And these come from, well, I hope they come from, the 1987 tune. Could be arcade colors, though. I mean, however you slice them. This should contain General Trag and Granitor. So if there is a glare, I'm so sorry. I could turn this around here. I'm sure there's art on the back as well, if there's glare on the front. It's a very sunny day outside. Well, better than filming this on a sunny day than in a dark room. All right. So, yeah, it could be arcade colors, could be cartoon colors. I don't know. They're the same figures. So, I mean, if I got the arcade colors, I'm not really gonna complain. I mean, they're gonna feel the same. So let's open these bad boys and see what we got, shall we? Hopefully nothing's gonna come popping out the box. They should be all tied in. Now, this video I'm going to be able to get done in probably one sitting, but there's so much that they pack in with the NECA action figures, and we've got some other 2-packs to do in the future. So what I'm going to do in those is just kind of do one figure per video, maybe split those 2-packs up into 2 parts, because otherwise you're going to wind up with like 20-something minutes per 2-pack, and I kind of want to split those up. But yeah, here we have General Trag and Granitor. And so you got, I think, Granitor over here on the left. I say that because I did own a General Trag back in the day from Playmates, and Trag didn't have this massive schnoz here, this big old rock sticking off. So I'm guessing that's probably Granitor there on the left. And over here on the right, should be General Trag. So what I'm going to do is pause this like I usually do, break them out the figure tray, and we will have a closer look. This should be a short vid because I don't really have much in here to break out the package. Looks like we get a mutagen canister, stuff like that. I'll break all of it out. We'll have a look.
Pause video. Stop. Pause video recording button.
So back in the blink of an eye.
Space. Resume.
All right. So here we have Granitor, one of Krang's Stone Warriors, out of the packaging, and I really like this guy's design. I mean, when I found out that Krang had massive rock mutants when I was a kid, I immediately wanted one as an action figure. I mean, we got the Playmates version of Trag back then, but when you produce action figures that have more of a more of a look based on the animated series, or I mean, they're just taken right out of the animated series, of course. It scratches an itch. And so, yeah, this is the guy that hung out with Trag, I do believe, in the episode Hot Rodding Teenagers, or Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X. And it says online that he was voiced by Pat Fraley doing a Peter Lorre impersonation. I can't seem to find any sources confirming that. But, okay, I guess that's Pat. I'm not really sure, though. Granitor, he's just cool. Look at that big nose he has there, like a big rock somebody just jammed in the middle of his face. I mean, he's a mutant, of course. We know in Michelangelo's Birthday, I think. Well, I mean, it was insinuated that the rock soldiers were mutated. Maybe they weren't. I always thought that maybe Krang used some ooze. And the weapons these guys come with, I would imagine these blasters here look a lot like the ones from the animated series. I think NECA really tried to give us show-accurate representations of the rock soldiers, the Stone Warriors, whatever you want to call them. I am just over the moon with this guy here. I mean, we're taking a look at him first because I'm saving the best for last. Yes, I like General Trag a bit better than Granitor because he's General Trag. But I mean, Granitor is pretty cool too. He's got the helmet on there. Got these big, massive rock outcroppings for shoulders. Here he is in the back here. Just a big rocky beast of a of a warrior here. And it looks like he's got a little badge there. I think that's a little badge or a little pin on his on the left side of his rocky chest there. That's pretty cool looking. And he's got a holster on his right side if you want to store that little blaster he's got there. So nice looking Granitor there. It's awesome to have this guy. He didn't do a lot in Hot Rodding Teenagers, but I still really like his character a lot. He's just, I like the voice that they went with, and I mean, he's just a really cool Stone Warrior there. I give Granitor an 11 out of 10 just because he's a really cool Stone Warrior.
Stop taking. Pause vid. Space. Resume.
All right, and this, for me anyway, is the cream of the crop when it comes to the set. General Trag. Krang's rockin' right hand. Well, he's not a man. He's a rock soldier, Stone Warrior, and he looks quite a bit different from the Playmates version, of course, because this is more of a design from the cartoon. This is taken straight out of the cartoon. So the Playmates version, I think he had like a spider crawling across his helmet. That doesn't have it here, but I mean, I'm fine with it not being there. I always loved Trag in the show. You'd see him in the arcade game. He's just a really cool bad guy. And this, I think, is a fantastic representation of him. So I have him holding a mutagen canister here in his left hand. So you can kind of wedge that in there. I don't want to break the thumb off. These guys are made out of a very hard plastic design. And I'm really glad they got here okay. And he also has the same blaster Granitor came with, who's got that there in his right hand. And of course, Trag was voiced by the late, great Peter Renaday. And, he also did Master Splinter. I loved Peter in Defenders of the Earth as Mandrake the Magician. Just a massive amount of work that he's done over the years. He did Exar Kun in Dark Lords of the Sith, a comic adapted to audio that we got back in the 90s in Star Wars. And, Pete is one of the voices from my childhood, along with Pat Fraley. So Trag, he's got a little holster on his right side, too, to holster his little blaster when he's not using it. So these little blasters we didn't get back in the day. I think Trag had a larger rifle. He had a smaller gun, but I bet you these weapons are more in line with what we saw in the cartoon. I wonder if they're the same ones that Bebop and Rocksteady are wielding, because I mean they're weapons from Dimension X. So yeah, I like Trag. He's it's clearly Trag. The design to me looks like Trag because I mean he's got that squash nose. It's a really flat nose, and that's one thing I remember about the Playmates action figure back in the day. He had a really squash looking nose. I think he did have a whole bunch more rocks on one of his shoulders that were kind of sticking up. But this is, of course, based on the 80s toon design. I'm not sure what colors that they're in. They could be, in terms of colors based on the arcade game. I'm not sure. I just got them from a pretty good price on eBay after Christmas this past year. Because I was like, you know what? I really would like to nab a couple of the NECA 2-packs. Hope I didn't mispronounce it as Nika. I do that sometimes because of my stupid screen reader. So please forgive me. Love Trag. They came out fantastic. Nice tight joints. Nothing loose regarding these figures at all. So I'm quite happy with them. So they've got one more accessory, and I don't know how I'm going to show it because it's so small. It's a communicator. I don't think it'll fit in their big, massive, rocky hands. They came with little communicator here. Tiny little communicator. So I guess they can talk with maybe Krang. I bet you it's got to be Krang on the communicator there. Probably yelling at him. I don't know. It would make sense to put Krang's face up there. Shredder, he had dealings with them, but Krang, there were more Krangs minions than Shredders in the 80s too. So yeah, you get a little communicator there. And this reminds me of the communicator that we got with the Super Shredder action figure in the early 90s. He came with a communicator that looked quite a bit like that. So I'm guessing that his was, based on the cartoon. We never got a communicator for the bad guys to use. Well, we didn't really get turtle communicators back in the day either. At least I don't think. I dropped off of the old line somewhere in 93 maybe, or 94, when Power Rangers was getting real big. But these two guys, I love their designs. Trag is my favorite, of course, just because he's Trag, just massive, rocky behemoth of a warrior here. Nice tight joints with him. I have to say he came out very, very well. But I will say Granitor is also fantastic. It's easy to tell them apart. I mean, they gave them distinct looks. Trag just has, the regular size shoulders with a few bits of rock sticking off of them. Granitor here, though, I really like his big, beefy shoulders that just come way up past his shoulders, almost come up to his head. I love that. That is such a cool design for him. I think they do share some parts. I think they probably share the same boots. The faces are different, very different, so I can tell them apart. Clearly Granitor here, and I like the blasters. I'm glad that we got more show accurate weapons for these guys, and we actually get holsters for them. 11 out of 10 for this set. I couldn't be more pleased with the way they turned out. Just amazing to be able to own more cartoon accurate representations of some of my favorite characters. I loved the Rock Soldiers when I was a kid. So that'll do for this video. Hopefully I'm not missing anything.
Stop. Pause. Space.
So hopefully one of these days we'll get an action figure from maybe Super 7 depicting General Trag as he appeared in the Playmates line. Because he had a different look, and I really miss that design, having that in the Turtle collection. Because it was, that was what I remember checking out first in terms of tactile representation for Trag when I was a kid. So maybe one of these days we'll get a figure harkening back to the actual Playmates toy. I would love one of those. I would totally nab one if we got them. That'll do for this figure review, and I'll hear you next time. Rock on!
Stop taking